Hey guys, so welcome to my gum road. I've been doing a lot of workshops and tutorials for magazines and websites and breakdowns of my personal work over the past couple years, but I never really did a complete tutorial like the ones you're gonna find here on this website. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. So I'd like to just use this video to show you guys a little bit of my UI and my hotkeys and just the basic techniques that I'm gonna use on all those videos. But before I do that, I'd just like to thank some people and kind of use this space to give you guys some references of digital sculptors in case you're looking for something like that. So first I'd like to thank Dominic, and you've probably seen his work, but in case you haven't, just make sure you check it out. He's always making new stuff and he has a lot of Gumroad already available for us. And I'll probably just put a lot of the names here on the screen so you guys can check it out. I had the pleasure to work with many of those guys and they really helped me improve every day, and that's why I want to share a bit with you guys in here. So what you're gonna find here is not the perfect formula to create a character, but it's what I developed over these years for my personal and professional projects, and it's kind of what works for me. And I hope it just help you guys and inspire you guys to keep working on your own stuff, because it's really about practice and a lot of hard work. Alright, you can easily customize your ZBrush by turning on the Enable Customize here in the Preferences, and then you can drag anything that you want into any of the sidebars. So basically what I have here, I have some materials on the side right here that can easily switch between materials, and I have the lighting, the main light placement right here. So one thing about ZBrush, the lights are not perfect, so it's just good to have this light control right here. So especially when you work with anatomy, you can easily change the light placement and see if everything is working. And I'm gonna talk about that in a second, but I have all my main brushes on my hotkeys, and the brushes that I don't actually use that much but it's still important, I have here on the sidebar. So I have pinch, clay tubes, slash, and high polish, and I can always change them for something else depending on the project that I'm working. Just grab a different one and replace for whatever. So I have 4 brushes, I have 2 materials, I have the light placement, and right here I have the Z-App link views. And one thing you're gonna see me using a lot on the tutorials is I usually store those views. I have 2 right here, so I can always keep back and forth between those 2 views, and I have that as a shortcut as a 1 and 2 on the keyboard, so I can easily switch between them. And especially when I'm using references and the spotlight, it's really useful, and I can clear them. And one thing I have here is the morph target, and for those who use morph target, it's just you can store a morph state of the mesh, and then you can switch back if you want to preserve something. So let's say I want to preserve some details, I can store a morph target, and it's always right here, morph target. So I can store this morph target, I can sculpt something, and then with the morph brush I can just paint back whatever I stored before. So it's very useful. And I also have the angle of it's kind of like the perspective of the camera right there. So that's mainly what I use when I'm sculpting, so that's why I keep everything on the left, and because I'm a left-handed, so it is easier for me to grab brushes and grab materials right there. So the UI is going to be available in this video, but it's very easy to create your own UI. I just want to make sure you guys know what's happening when you watch the videos. So I guess what's really important before you start watching the videos is just understanding my hotkeys. And I have my main brushes on my hotkeys, you can probably see on the screen right now. So I have C for clay, I have V for move, N for inflate, and I have D for damp standard, and N for the standard brush, which are the main brushes that I use. I use a lot of clay tubes, damp standard, and move. So when you're watching the videos, you're gonna see me just switching between brushes without clicking anywhere on the screen, and that's because I have all my my brushes on my hotkeys, so I can easily just move and then use clay. Let me subdivide this so you guys can see. So I can be using clay and then just switching back to move and then switching back to clay and then damn standard. So by having those brushes right there, I can very quickly switch back and forth and keep working without having to go in here and then picking another brush. I can always just switch them back. So I'm also gonna make it available for you guys, my hotkeys, but again, if you want to create some hotkeys, you just have to click on anything. Let's say you can click on a brush, like a morph brush. You can click on a brush holding Ctrl Alt, and it's gonna ask you to press any key to assign a custom hotkey, and then you can press any available key. So now you have your brush assigned to that key. So I'm gonna also put an email here in the video, so if you guys have any questions related to the videos or have any suggestions, make sure to send an email. I'm gonna do a Q&A video in the future, and make sure you check my Facebook and my website for future updates, and let's get started.